Hello, everybody, and welcome to challenge number 3, start sorting a container at a time. So this is where we really get into the thick of it with all your embellishments and stuff. So let's get started by, just for those of you that are new, kind of how the webinar works. You can't see me. You can see my computer screen and you can hear my voice, but you can't actually see me sitting here in my bunny slippers. If you think of a question, type it into your question box as we go along. There's a chance that it'll get answered through the presentation, but if not, I will answer them or recap those questions at the end of the session. But type it in so you don't forget about it, just in case I don't. So let's start with this week's winner. This is from Yvonne. This is not a post that was on Facebook. This is one of the people who sent me their update. Challenge paper, attitude roughless, the end result. All paper organized and now fitting on 130-inch shelf. And a huge box of craft paper to be donated to a neighborhood elementary school that has a high count of poverty-level students. Nice job. I've donated art supplies to them several times before, and it is always appreciated and put to good use. Thank you, Tiffany, for the know-how and the encouragement to get a job done that I have been putting off for years. That seems to be sort of the theme tonight, right? We've had several people also comment that same thing. I've been putting this off. Well, I'm glad that you're all making progress, and congratulations, Yvonne. And I'm adding you to the list here of people who won the prize and didn't possibly get their coupon, but we will get it out to you. Again, if you were a winner and you haven't received anything from us, it may be that we don't have your email address, so feel free to email us instead. Now, for those of you who are new, you can join our Facebook group and post your progress. Or you can email me directly with a progress post if you're not on Facebook. And at the end of the day of the webinar, I take all the posts and everybody gets entered into a drawing, and I pick one out, and somebody wins a $25 Scrap Rack gift certificate. So again, either email me directly or post it on the Facebook group if you want to be entered. We just need to know your progress. Let's talk about the webinar goal this week. We want to understand how to combine your embellishments for easy access, why combining your embellishments is the best way to get the most use out of your embellishments, and begin the process of sorting stickers, die cuts, buttons, brads, beads, and all that good stuff. So you're looking at this picture on my screen, or on your screen, and you're saying, why does Tiffany have a picture of her silverware drawer here? And the reason I have this silverware drawer picture, and some of you may have heard me say this before, this particular part of organizing our supplies is something that's really hard for people, this sort of combine and conquer mentality, because we have this tendency, we've actually been trained in the industry to compartmentalize our things or containerize all our things. Eyelets separate from brads, separate from beads, separate from glitter, and we're encouraged to separate those things out. Well, remember we talked about in the earlier webinars is that you want to keep things together you would use together. So if you look at your silverware drawer as an example, all of the things in the silverware drawer do different things. They do different tasks, right? But you don't have your knives in a basket and your forks in a cabinet and your spoons in a box. They're not containerized and separated around the kitchen. You keep those things together that you would use together. So when you're ready to set the table, it's easy. When you unload the dishwasher, it's easy to put things away. This is the same sort of philosophy I want you to think about as we're organizing craft supplies. When you want to use your things, the things you need are together. When you're going to clean up and put things away or add new things, it's easy to do that as well. So keep that silverware drawer in mind and that philosophy of keep things together you would use together, because we're going to combine and conquer all those other things today. So getting ready, you need to gather the things you need to complete the challenge together, which are sorting templates, Ziploc bags, file folders. If you're using a scrap rack, you're going to need to make sure you have scrap rack pages, totes, whatever tool you're using for organizing, you want to have that available. You want to have a plan where things go once they've been sorted, stored, and cataloged. Now, we talked about last week the organized space. So if you weren't here last week, you need to go back and maybe watch last week's video, because that organized only space is really important. You want to have somewhere that you can put things once they're organized that's all neat and tidy. And then, of course, you need to have that purge box at the ready. You all used it for paper sorting last week. Now, I think I talked a little bit about the purge box last week as well, but it's something you should have forever. So I know some of you have seen the pictures of my purge box. I actually just used one of our paper storage boxes because it's skinny and narrow, and it's just underneath my desk, my work desk. So if I have something that's ready to go purge, I can just drop it into that paper storage box, and then I have everything, and it's small. And then when that paper storage box fills up, I can dump it into a big Ziploc bag and drop it off at my kids' school or Sunday school or something like that. But the purge box is now a part of your everyday crafting life, so you should have it at the ready from now on. Okay, and then you're going to need your sorting template. So I know some of you made sorting templates out of 12 by 18 paper for paper sorting, and if you did those, you're going to use those again for embellishment sorting. If you didn't, if you use the dividers and the box method for paper sorting, you're going to want to create those 12 by 18 templates now. And to do that, you want to write the main category in the top left corner and the list of subcategories down below it. So here's a couple of the options for sorting templates, and you can see the picture on the left side. Those are the first sorting templates that I used, and the problem with doing it on 12 by 12 paper is that once you start stacking things on the 12 by 12 paper, you can't see what the stack is. So if you can use a 12 by 18 sheet of paper and then just write the main topic and then the subtopics below. So we have spring, Easter, Mother's Day, and reds and pinks, and then letters, numbers, and punctuation. And you're going to make those to follow along not only the four-section system, but you're going to be able to specifically sort your categories alphanumerically from your themes list as well. Get set. Spread out your sorting templates across over furniture, on the countertops, wherever you have room, so that you can start the sort process. And so this is a picture that was actually sent to me a couple of webinars ago, and you can tell obviously that this is somebody's rainbow section in full thing. So you can see it doesn't matter what it is, buttons, brads, bling, eyelets, whatever, ribbons, flowers, they're all grouped in there by color. So I want to talk a little bit about not taking on too much stuff, and because that's when you get overwhelmed. So as you go with this webinar assignment, I want you to sort just one container or less at a time. So like we saw the picture of the lady, the previous picture, if you don't have to worry about sharing your dining room table with anyone for a few days, then you can spread your stuff out comfortably without worrying about it. If you have to serve dinner to your family in an hour on the dining room table, don't sort this much stuff because you'll have to scoop it all together instead of actually finishing your task. So do one container at a time or less, and then once it's sorted, group the items in each category by size. Now the important thing about size, and we talked a little bit about this with scraps, but it's the same with embellishments. If you're using scrap, you want to have your things sorted by size groups because you want to fill your small pockets, your medium pockets, large pockets most economically. But even if you're not using a scrap rack, you still want to sort by size, because if you're putting everything into a giant Ziploc bag or a file folder or some other type of storage thing, you want the smaller in the front and the bigger things in the back so that you can actually see a little bit of everything, even if you just have it stacked up in a zip bag. And then you're going to put each storage page, bag, or file folder into the appropriate section of your four-section system and then start your next container. So it's going to be tempting to do lots and lots and pile up lots and lots of things. And if you confidently know that you can do that, then go ahead and do it. But for most of us, we have work and kids and significant others and dogs and cats and birds or whatever. And so making a big mess we could sabotage ourselves by not being able to get it done, and then everything gets scooped together and gets back into a tote. And so this is where you start to get frustrated and you think there's a problem with the system, and really you just took on too much. The other thing is that once you've done just a little bit of it, if you're going to scrap before you have more time to sort, you're actually getting the benefit of the stuff that you've sorted while you're scrapbooking. So you can really see the benefit of it if you're just doing that little bit at a time, but you actually get to use it in between. So how will your four-section system look? You're going to have alphanumeric, and so you can see here's just a scrap rack binder where obviously alphanumeric is at the top, and then the themes dividers are labeled down the side, which you're going to start with alphanumeric. And then these are the embellishment storage pages. These are a heavier gusseted pocket page, but again, like chipboard alphabets or beads, or these are button alphabets in the yellow, but all those are going to just go together right in that section. And then you're going to come to your theme section, and you can see I've got the sports section started here. And in the bottom right corner of that sports section, you can see there's an idea page, or page idea, layout idea from CK Magazine. So as you come across those layout ideas for specific things that you've torn out of magazines or printed off the computer, go ahead and put those right into the section where they belong. And that way, when you're ready to scrapbook that particular theme or event, you'll remember that you like that layout. It'll be right there. You'll be able to know what you have that's going to work on it, or what else you might need to buy to make that layout, to finish that layout. So go ahead and put them right in with your supplies. So we've got a couple of themes here, travel and sports, and the calendar section. So again, it doesn't matter what it is. We've got some paper dolls, some crochet, tags, Jolie's Boutique, a little shaker thing, some words, or anything that fits that theme or category you want to integrate it in. Don't separate things out. Don't put your crochet things together and your words or quotes together and your Jolie's together. You want to have them all together in one place. So when you're ready to work on that 4th of July page, you see everything that might possibly work together, and it's all in one place. The same thing, when you're done working on that 4th of July page, you're going to be able to go right back to 4th of July, and anything that's left over, whether it's a scrap that meets your minimum scrap size, or maybe you took out all 3 of these colored tags, but you only used 1 or 2 of them, you're able to flip back to 4th of July and put those things right back away. So not only does it make it easier to actually scrap or craft once you sorted everything, it also makes it easier to clean up, and you're more likely, I've said this before in the other webinars, if it's easy, you're far more likely to do it than if it's difficult. So once you get things sorted and you can take them out and put them away easily, not only are you going to enjoy more crafting time, but you're going to be more likely to put things away when you're done with them, rather than pile them up at the end of your desk. So the other thing is, when you're grouping all these things together, we have the one question about the flowers, right? If you take your flowers and you put all your flowers together in a drawer, rather than putting your flowers together in the rainbow section or with everything in your rainbow section, if you look at your page and you go, oh, I need to add something blue, and you go to your blue section and there's no flowers in there, you might not even remember that you had blue flowers. You'll see all the other things that you had, the magic mesh and the bingo markers and the funky twine and all those other, the tiles, all those other cool things. So you might use something that you weren't planning on using, but if your flowers aren't in there, then you're not going to remember them and you're not going to use them. The other thing, going back to the easy part of it, if it's easy, you're going to use it. The things that you can see and the things that you can put your hands on are the things that you're going to use. And so some people say, I have 500 sheets of Christmas paper. I can't put it all in my scrap rack. Well, it doesn't matter. If you only put 30 sheets of paper in your scrap rack, when you're working on Christmas or birthday or whatever it is and you go to that section, there's a good chance you're going to use what's at your fingertips. And then you can just replenish those sections. So the more stuff you get in there, the more visible it is and the more accessible it is, the more likely you are to actually use it, more likely you are to actually put it away. Once you get your 4-section system all set up, it's going to be much easier even when you buy new things and bring them home to be able to put them away rather than leave them stacked up somewhere. Every class that I teach at a show, at a convention, I ask the class, how many of you found the shopping bags from last year's convention when you were packing to come to this convention? And usually about 50% of the hands in my classroom go up at that point. So once it's easier to put things away, you're going to put them away and use them rather than just sort of collect them in the closet. And don't forget your scraps of paper. So, I showed this picture, and the pictures before I showed were colors, but remember your scraps, whether they're beach scraps going in the beach section or Christmas scraps going in the Christmas section, you want to use them, so make sure that they're grouped together, keeping things together you would use together. And then labeling is the last thing you're going to do. And we talked about this with the paper sorting as well, because you're probably going to rearrange things around. So once you sort your sports things, you may have thought that you had baseball, basketball, golf, and tennis. But really, once you started sorting sports, you found out the only sport that you really had enough to call a section of was baseball and basketball. And so your one or two golf things or tennis things might go in kind of the generic sports section. So use sticky notes to tag things until you know exactly what sections you're going to build. In this example, on the left side, you can see the little self-adhesive tabs that are just sitting on the table there. So you don't necessarily need a divider for everything, whether you're using scrap rack dividers or using cardboard dividers or whatever. You can just use the little stick-on tabs to label the pages, the storage pages on the side. So where this says basketball, baseball, golf, those little self-adhesive tabs are just stuck right on the side of the storage pockets. So it just kind of subdivides the category without actually having to use whole dividers to do that. Now, you'll also notice the calendar section follows right behind that. Now, again, when you're sorting your calendar section, you may discover that certain parts of the year are very busy for you and certain parts not at all. You don't have a lot of supplies for those. So personally, my calendar section is labeled January to June because there isn't a lot that goes on in those months. And then July and August are summer here in the great Pacific Northwest. If we're really lucky, we get 2 full months of summer, July and August. Sometimes it leaks over into September. But then September is back to school month, and October is Halloween and Thanksgiving, and then we're into December. So you can see my sections aren't uniform, you know, winter, spring, summer, fall. They're designed to accommodate the categories that I have the most supplies for. So I have a lot of stuff in September, a lot in October, November, and really a lot in December, so they each have their own tab, whereas January to June just has, they're all kind of lumped into one. So if you're using a scrap rack, this is a double scrap rack base unit, 2 scrap rack base units hooked together, but you can see the page that's kind of open. You're in the theme section there with a little bit of travel. And then as you migrate along to the back, you can see where you transition into the colors green, blue, purple are kind of prevalent there. But it really does put everything, you know, quick and easy and at your fingertips once you have it in that 4-section system. Now this is displayed in the scrap rack, but you can do the same thing in the 4-section system using those file folders or binders or Ziploc bags and putting them into a tote or drawer in that same arrangement. Not quite so visible, but it'll definitely get the job done. Okay, why are we doing 1 container at a time this week? Because we want to avoid getting everything spread out and then having to quit. I know I talked about this a little bit earlier, but I can't stress enough how important it is to do these little baby steps. And for those of you who are on Facebook and have just joined us and are part of the Facebook group, ask some of the graduates or the alumni about doing the baby steps, and you'll probably hear pretty unanimously that doing it a little bit at a time provided that instant gratification we all love, and also kept from getting frustrated or overwhelmed. I can't stress it enough how important just taking the small steps is. You want to make sure that you're working in a range that you can finish within the time you have allotted, and all of this is going to keep you from becoming overwhelmed and frustrated. Okay, so here's some of the things that you're going to come up to challenges with. Buttons, brads, eyelets, all these little guys, right? Here's a great example of a really cute packaging promotion. A girlfriend of mine brought me these little buttons with the button lids and the little jars because they matched my scrapbook room. And I thought they were adorable. But you can see these little button jars, now I have to find a home for them. They're going to get buried in a box or in a drawer or on a shelf somewhere. And if I'm going to take them with me to a crop or something, they're going to take up a huge amount of space relative to if I had just taken them out of those cute containers and put them into little Ziploc bags. And so that's what I did. So now I can take everything that's in those little containers, or enough of what's in those little containers. So what you might have is what we call a backstock area. I know there's a video on the website about this. Maybe some of you have seen it. But if you have lots and lots of green buttons and glitter and eyelets and brads, you don't need to have all of those things with you or at your fingertips all the time. You just need enough of them to finish an entire project. So if you could finish 4, 5, or 6 pages worth of green eyelets, that's all you need in front of you, or green buttons. So if that's the case and you have lots of something that's the same, you can start a backstock area, and it's usually by color, where you put your extra orange glitter and your extra orange buttons and brads and eyelets and all that stuff in a orange box or container. And that way, when you do use up this little bag of orange buttons, you can go get your orange backstock container, bring it out, refill the buttons, look at other little Ziploc bags, the glitter, the eyelets, the brads that are orange, and top off all of those as well, and then you can put the orange box away. So you're actually making it simpler to reload everything because you have everything that's backstock in one color group. Same thing if you have tons of orange flowers, same kind of thing. You want to keep that back area going. Ribbon and fiber, another big challenge. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, essentially, the roll. Don't need to reinvent the roll. Your awareness will really go up once you start sorting and organizing these things to kind of figure out how much stuff you've got and how much stuff you actually use. And so if you're one of those people who always buys, you know, a 30-yard roll of ribbon, and as you're sorting and organizing, you have most of those 30-yard rolls of ribbon intact, you might just change the way that you shop or the way that you think about what you're buying, particular Christmas ribbons or Halloween ribbons or whatever, and just buy them by the yard instead. But if you have all of those ribbons on rolls still, we've all seen just a simple dowel solution for organizing those things. The problem with the dowel is if you, for some reason, you want to take that roll of ribbon off with you, and it's in the middle, you have to go to the middle, take everything else off and get it. So you're kind of stuck actually cutting what you need or what you're going to work with off and taking it with you for a crop or class rather than taking that whole spool or that whole rod of ribbon apart. If you don't have, but if you have a lot, I mean, I'm kind of digressing here, and you're putting it on the dowels, which is fine, you just want to do it in the same 4 or 3 sections because there's no alphabet section. But you want to put your theme ribbons together in alphabetical order, in your holiday or seasonal ribbons together in, you know, in winter, spring, summer, fall, and then your rainbow ribbons together so that you're not digging and searching through all your ribbons to find Christmas ribbon or to find soccer ribbon or whatever. So you want to mentally, you want to be able to follow the same 4-section system everywhere you go so that if you think to yourself, do I have any sports ribbon, you don't have to go and dig through a big ribbon box. You go to your ribbon and you go, and it's in theme. So there it is, you know, in the S section, sports, and there's all your sports ribbon. Or in the winter section, there's all your Christmas ribbon. Now, if you have less ribbon, you can do something simple like what we've got here with the wraparound ribbon and fiber boards, and those are scrap rack pages. They hold multiple ribbons. They're 12 inches long, and they slide into a side loader single pocket, but you can really get visual with your ribbon. Wrap lots of it, or fiber, wrap lots of it around by color, by theme, whatever. These are all color ones here. And then you just clip it down. Now, the ribbon and fiber boards are plastic coated. They have a little ruler on them too, which makes it nice if you're cutting something. You want to make sure you have at least 12 inches. It's easy to measure right there. But they're plastic coated, so they come with little clips for holding the ends. You can actually use a repositionable glue dot and stick that down to hold the ends down. There are little cuts, little tabs in the boards to put the, you know, end in, and then you wrap it around and just glue dot the beginning or clip the beginning down of that ribbon. So it makes it really easy. It also makes it really easy then to integrate those right into your 4-section system. So to put your red ribbons in the red section, black and black, and that kind of stuff. But if you already have tons on rolls, just rearrange how they're arranged, you know, arrange them in the 4-section system. You might not necessarily want to reinvent them all. Stickers and die cuts. We tend to have baskets of these or drawers of these or big piles of them or containers, you know, Tupperware containers full of them. So I just caution you to start with a small stack. So if you had this big drawer full of stickers, if you just took out a handful of them, that handful onto your template and then put the handful into your 4-section system, and you just go a handful pile at a time. That way you're going to see real progress as you're working through without getting overwhelmed and spreading things out too far around the house. Okay, so this week's challenge is a simple one. One, you're going to sort and store 1 container a day for 4 of the next 7 days. Now, a container could be anything. It can be a little tiny thing, or it could be a great big thing. So you just have to choose 4 containers that are going to fit into the time you'll have allotted for each, and sort at least 4 containers of embellishments. And then I want you to add to that another 4 or 6 inches of paper. Now, you're all paper sorting masters after last week, and I saw a lot of great posts on Facebook of people who had just powered through. So I know that a lot of you have tons of paper done, but there's probably still some of us paper junkies sitting out there with a couple more stacks to go. And then finally, you're going to post on Facebook. Post your progress on Facebook, or post on my, or send me an email with your progress notes on it, so you can get entered to win the prize. All right, so that's a challenge for this week. Now, and we've all heard this proverb, the longest journey begins with a single step. Well, you all have, other than those of you who are in here for the first time, all of you have made several steps already, and you're well on your way. Once you've begun the sorting process for all of these items, you're ready to just stay the course, and that means you have a map in your head, a plan, and a destination. So from this point forward, anything that you buy can get put away immediately into the 4-section system, even if it's the first thing in that section. So if you haven't sorted any of your sports stuff, go to the scrapbook store and you buy soccer stickers, when you come home, you can start a section for sports and put the soccer stickers away, because you know the rest of your supplies, as you come across them, are going to join up with that little sticker as you get to that container or that part of your scrapbook room. So don't allow new products to fill up. This new system will encourage you to think before you buy, so you'll know exactly where the items belong before you get to the cash register. And it's kind of funny. This is it's really fun for me to teach at a show and talk about this and how you think about what you're buying. Because even at a show where I've taught a class, people go out onto the show floor and they start making different decisions about what they're going to buy, just because their brains are thinking differently about things. So when you go to the scrapbook store, instead of sort of buying impulse things that are really cute or whatever, you're going to look at that thing and go, this is really a cute soccer sticker. Where am I going to put it when I get home? Okay, it's going to go in my soccer section. And then this little voice in the back of your head, it's probably going to be mine, is going to say, you already have that. It was so cute, you bought it last time. So you'll really be amazed at how fast your brain starts to think about different things and how you can process different things and put them away quickly and easily. So a little bit of discipline will go a long way in helping you stay organized, and that starts right at the scrapbooks, what you're buying. So I went through quickly some of the different pages when I showed how your 4-section system might look. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the scrap rack pages, these are the 5 different designs that we have. These are what we call our basic storage pages. They're a lightweight food-grade plastic. Some people say, boy, they're so light, how durable are they? I've never replaced a scrap rack, a page, for anybody that wasn't a manufacturing defect. So even in my scrap rack, which has now been around for 10 years, I've never ripped a page or ripped a pocket unless something was wrong with the manufacturer where it wasn't seamed properly. They're super durable. And there is a video on the website of the different pages and how they work and what they hold and all those kind of things. So if a scrap rack is something that you've been debating or thinking about or just want more information on, the page on our website that has the storage pages, there's a video where you can actually see them, and we talk a little bit more in depth about them. So here are the links and other info that you will need for this week. The Facebook group, or the page video is, our website, and then the challenge link for this page. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the question pane now. So if anyone has questions and you haven't had a chance to type them in, feel free to do that now. Again, this is going to produce big black blocks on your screen, so I apologize for it's a glitch in the GoToWebinar system with PowerPoint. All right, let's see. These are the questions we've already answered here. Let me see here. Okay, so we're going to start with Nubia, who says, I've totally recruited someone to join the Facebook group in the webinar. She came over the other day and saw my progress because she knew where I started. She was impressed. Yay! I'm so glad to hear that, Nubia. Yeah, please share the webinar with your friends or other scrapbook pals if there's something that they think they could use. You know, we have an open door. You don't have to scrap rack to be part of the group. And regardless of what you're using for a storage tool, hopefully you're going to find the ideas helpful. And people always say to me, why do you do this? Why don't you only let people who have bought your product do it? Why are you giving away all this information for free? And I give away the information for free for a couple of reasons. And the first one is that if the scrapbooking industry has lots of people who love scrapbooking and are interested in scrapbooking, then the industry as a whole is going to be strong and vibrant and healthy. We've all lived in communities where we lost our local stores for one reason or another. I know most of it was the economy. But the more scrapbookers that are out scrapbooking, whether they're using a scrap rack or not, if they're happy and they're productive and they're organized, then they're going to be doing more scrapbooking, and they're going to be inviting their friends and family to do more scrapbooking. So I'm sort of this philosophy that a rising tide floats all boats. So, and just because a scrap rack might not be the right tool for you, if you've taken the webinar, you really see the principles and the strategies that we use and how they work, probably going to share the information like Nubia did with a friend. And so not only is she going to become a more productive scrapbooker, but she might need a scrap rack. So I'm not pretending that it isn't somehow beneficial to me. It's hugely beneficial to me as a business person, but it's beneficial to me in a much bigger picture than just immediate product sales. A strong industry will keep all of our little businesses happy. And most of the scrapbooking businesses are owned by people like me, just small business women who had a dream, whether their dream was to open a store or create a line of product. And so the more we can do for each other to sort of build a strong industry, the better we're all going to be. All right, I'll get off my soapbox. Barbara says, I missed last week but caught it on Facebook. And then she says, what coupon? And the coupon that we're talking about, it's not really a coupon. The winners, the gift certificate winners from earlier in the series is who they won a gift certificate. So if you're part of the Facebook group, you will be entered in to win that as well. Jeannie says, Tiffany, I'm getting so much done. I even have my husband helping to make a container for my markers. Way to go. Nice work. Joanna's checking in to let us know that she's here. And for those of you who haven't met Joanna either on Facebook or through some customer service, she's our new customer service rep. She works remotely in Dallas, Texas. So, or not Dallas, I'm sorry. Dallas is where Arlington, she's in Houston, but in Texas, which is one of my favorite places of all time. Catherine says, other than Girl Scouts, any ideas for donating to a charity? Boy, there are so many, and some of it depends where you live. So if you go in the Facebook group and ask for information, everybody will sort of post up their favorite, and then you can choose the charity that works best for you. So I know when the Joplin, Missouri catastrophe happened, we sent a lot of stuff there, but different things, you know. So let's see. Robin says, I've missed the first two webinars. Is the information available in print or recorded? It is available, and you will get a follow-up email today, or from today. It won't go out until tomorrow, but it'll have a link back to the page on our website where you can watch that. Kathy says, as I sorted papers, I became confused. I started out sorting cardstock in a given color, light to dark. Then I put behind them the distress, dots, hearts, etc. But I found myself thinking as I did each color, wouldn't I be more likely to use the distress, dots, flowers, etc. if they were sorted with the corresponding solid colors they'd go with? But then I started sorting that way. It got really confusing. Help! Your suggestion would be greatly appreciated. Thanks, Kathy. Here's the thing, Kathy and everybody. Paper, most of us are paper junkies. It doesn't really matter if you mess a couple of sheets of paper up, or a couple of dozen, or for some of us 100 or so sheets of paper, because you have so much of it. But the thing about staying consistent with the colors, where you have your distressed dots, plaids, flowers, whatever, in their color group, is that your brain knows where to look for things. So once you start grouping things together that aren't systematic, so you're just like putting things together because you think that they're look good together or whatever, now your brain doesn't know where to look for those things. But if you are working on something with pink paper and you think, I would love to match this with something distressed in purple, then your brain knows exactly where to go to find purple distressed or yellow distressed or whatever it is. So what you're doing, not so much, well, you're organizing your paper, but you're also organizing your brain to think this way as the paper is organized. So try not to get too overwhelmed. This is a really common difference with paper. If it's double-sided, if it's a particular brand, if it's this, if it's that. So kind of take a deep breath and think about, you know, in your brain, what you want to do is train your brain to search for things consistently, which is what combine and conquer all our embellishments. Because instead of thinking about a soccer embellishment or soccer brad, going to your brad drawer and digging through all your brads to find soccer brad, you just want to stop with that very first thought, soccer, go to your soccer section, and there's all your soccer stuff. So with the paper, try to stay within the colors and try to stay consistent. If you decide you need purple dots to go with something pink, or if you need black dots to go with something white or whatever, you're going to know exactly where to go to find those things instead of guessing. Now, did I put those black dots, the black big dots with the big dots and the green big dots instead of putting the black dots with black things? I hope that makes sense to everybody. And sometimes the other thing is this whole process is really overwhelming. So that's why so many people have been through the webinar a couple of different times. And each time you come, you're going to get a new perspective on something. So don't feel like it's you just can't get it. It's an overwhelming concept, and we're talking about something that seems so simple on the surface, but it's different than any way we've been taught to organize things before. So it's a lot more challenging. Lori's checking in from New York. Welcome from New York. Rose says, are you people hearing music in the background? I don't hear any music. I don't know if anyone else does. But Kathy said, instead of using flat sorting templates, I sorted my rainbow embellishments into large cardboard boxes from the office supply store. I have so many embellishments that I have nearly a full box of each color. Next, I'll go through each box and sort them within each color into the Ziploc bags, etc. So a great point from Kathy, especially if you have boxes available. Now, one of the things is if you're sorting a lot of stuff, as she stated that she was, that once you get it sorted by color, then you can stack all those boxes up in the corner and then start sorting them into the smaller groups a little bit at a time. So especially as you're emptying boxes, you may have boxes that you can do that with. So thank you for that suggestion. Let's see. Christine says, should we take cuts out of the packaging or leave them in the original packaging? It just depends on how you're storing your so if you're using a scrap rack, then I would totally recommend taking everything out of the package, right? Packaging is bulky, it takes up space, it doesn't seem like it's very heavy, but you know, once you start adding all those packages together, it's just more weight. Now, if you're using things like folders or Ziploc bags, you don't want to risk your stickers, the corner stickers getting stuck on something else, or with the way a scrap rack sits, it's like eyelets and brads and bulky things the weight of them isn't pushing down, so you're not destroying anything or beneath them. But some other storage tools, you might want to keep that in mind, that if you're stacking things up in a box or something, that's going to be a different sort of thing. So they might need to have some protection around them. But if you're using a system where you can get rid of the packaging, I say, hallelujah, get rid of the packaging. Now, I know somebody's going to post on Facebook or email me or maybe even post right here that says if you're that you can't do that if you're on a design team, because you have to know all the brands of things that you're using for design team. So if you're on a design team or working towards getting on a design, you need to keep that in mind, that sometimes leaving things in the packaging is going to be necessary so you know where they came from. Brenda says, suggestion, buy all white flowers. They can be colored to match any project, can even stamp the stamp. Excellent, excellent suggestion, Brenda. That's so true. And here's the thing. if you buy all your flowers in different sizes and shapes and textures or whatever, and they're all white, then you'll know, again, I want to add a flower. They're all going to be in one place, and you can just color code it. That's a great suggestion. I've never heard that before. Okay. Vera Diana had to pop off, she says, because her husband uses a computer, so she's going to check back in with it. Barbara says, you answered my question I had today. I was wondering what to do with vellum quotes. Now I know where to put them. Thanks for your help. You are so welcome. Tammy says, oh my, did my daughter send you a picture of all the shopping bags we have sorted so far from the shopping trips over the past couple of years? I swear you are looking directly into my scrap space. However, soon I will be organizing and ready to create. Thank you. You're so welcome, Tammy. Vonda says, hi, my name is Vonda, and I'm from North Dakota. I was wondering where you would put clear acrylic embellishments like the Tim Holtz fragments. So I would do, if you use lots of clears, I would start, and they're generic in shape, right? So they're banners or circles or squares or whatever. And in the front of your rainbow section, you could have a section that's just clear shapes, right? It's kind of like the gal who recommended the white flowers, those clear shapes right in the very front of your section that is colors. Now, if they are things rather than generic shapes, like, I don't know, maybe you have one that's a shape of a horse, then that's going to go in your animal section. Or if it's the shape of a football, it's going to go in the football section. So if it's generic, I would give yourself a clear section, much like some of us have given ourselves metallic sections for our, silver, gold, copper. So I would do a clear. Let's see. Tanya says, at the scrapbook store this weekend, I fell in love with some cute monkey paper, but because I am still sorting my paper, I did not allow myself to buy it yet. As I sorted my paper tonight, I found the same monkey paper in my stash. Thank you for the webinar. It is obvious I need it. And Tanya, you're not alone. I mean, it's the things that we talk about in class when I teach at the shows is this buying duplicates of things. If it was so cute that I wanted it last time I was in the scrapbook store, it's probably still equally cute the next time. So it does really help you. And when I was talking about shopping before, your brain, once you sort through everything, that trigger is going to go off in your brain and say, you know what, this looks familiar. I think I already have it, or I think I have something very similar to it. And when we talk about going to a cropper class, we're going to talk about how using a 4-section system can make you a more efficient shopper as well as more efficient when you do a cropper class. So I'm glad you didn't buy anything you didn't need, Tanya, and I'm glad you found that cute monkey paper. Jody says, I'm not fully understanding the way to do this alphanumeric step. Do I just sort it by color? No, do it by size, or so that you have all the things together by the same size. And so if you go to your alphabet section, you have little tiny alphabet stickers or little tiny alphabet brads or whatever, those are going to be towards in the front. And then you're going to have like medium-sized alphabet stickers. And then the next section is going to be things that are like stickers. But the idea is that you have all the things by size, because if you're working on a word or title or phrase, and you think that you're going to spell the 4th of July, I think was the example I used last week even, out in all red stickers, but you don't have enough red stickers to do that. If you have your things sorted by color, then you're going to have to go to the blue and look, do I have enough blue? Or go to the white, do I have enough white? Whereas if you have all the things that are basically the same shape, size together, stickers, then you can just flip through this section because you'll see all in one place. You won't have to go digging around looking for colors. Most of the time when you're using fonts to spell something out, even if you want a collage-y look or have to do a collage-y look because you don't have enough of the exact same stickers or die cuts or whatever to that word, those things are all going to be basically the same size. So I would definitely go more with size with your alphanumeric section than I would with color. Let's see. Mary Kay says, can we buy the labels or tabs from the scrap rack? You can. They're on our website on the accessories page. We get them at Office Depot, though. So if you have an Office Depot near you, that's just the brand that we retail. But you can get them at the Office Depot near you. And, and it's, for some of you, it's easier if you're already placing a direct order to just add that to your order. But they're available at an office supply store as well as on our website. They're in the accessories section on our website. Julie says, I'm getting started, and for all the paper and stuff I have, what's the best way to get pages in bulk? Separately, this is a lot of money. How do I go about this? And Julie, I would, if you remember the Facebook, I would post this on Facebook. But I'm going to tell you something. One of the things that scrapbookers do is accumulate so much paper that we don't even know that we have it. So if you can discipline yourself a little bit with paper, I don't know if you got to watch the paper webinar, but sometimes you buy a $20 block of paper because you get really great value. And then when you get home and you're scrapbooking, you just find that block of paper maybe only has 1 or 2 sheets of paper that's going to work for your layout. And so now you're stuck with this huge block. And so instead of, paying 50 cents or 90 cents or even $1 for some really fabulous paper that you know exactly what you're going to do with, you have this whole block of paper that's $50 that you're not going to use. So I would go cautiously into trying to buy value for paper, and maybe even think more along the lines of, if I'm scrapping 6 pages about the beach, I'm going to go to Michael's or my local scrapbook store, and I'm going to get 6 background pages, and I'm going to get 6 coordinating color pages and work that way. And that way you're really going to use what you have. And please post that on Facebook and get other people's opinions. But I just think paper is one of those things where we have so much that we don't actually use what we've got because it's so hard to get through. So I would go cautiously into buying paper in large quantity for a good price versus buying really great paper for a little bit more money, but you're not ending up with a bunch of stuff you won't use. That was soapbox number 2 for me tonight. Yar says, are we able to download the sessions as MP3 as in iTunes so they can be listened to? I don't know that, but I have 2 teenage sons, and so I will put them on that mission. And if somebody else knows the answer to that question or how I might go about downloading the sessions to MP3, that would probably be great. So I will look into it, and if anybody that's listening is tech savvy and knows the answer, please feel free to email me and let me know. Bonnie says, where would you put colored alphabet stickers in section 1 or in the rainbow section? I think I probably just answered that one, Bonnie. So they would go in the rainbow. They would go in the alphabet section. Beverly asks, how to sort stickers that come in packages with some words, some flowers, and borders all on the same page? Thanks, Beverly. Well, again, what we don't want to do is go back to reinventing the wheel, cutting things apart or taking things apart if we don't have to. So when you look at those stickers that have some words and some flowers or whatever, I think you'll probably find that they go with a particular theme. Maybe it's spring words and spring flowers and those kinds of things, or Christmas flowers and Christmas words or whatever. And then once you start really looking at things, you'll be surprised at how those patterns pop up. If they don't, if it isn't particular, then you want to think about why you bought it. So if you bought this thing with the words, with the flowers and the things on it because you thought it was girlfriendy and you wanted to use it for your daughter's, friendship page or whatever, or her school friends, maybe that's what you thought, school friends, for my daughter's book, and then you're just going to put it in the school section. So when you buy something, there's obviously a reason that you like it, and it's going to pop into your head. I'm going to use this. This would be great on my daughter's, school pages, and then just put it in school. So even though it might not fit a theme for everybody who looks at it or fit the same thing for everybody who looks at it, you want to keep those things where you'll use them. And so wherever you bought it, if it doesn't fit a theme, you want to put it there so it'll pop up and you can use it that way. I hope that makes sense. Christine says, I'm sharing with my mom all your information. She's hesitant about things, but it took her 10 years to decide to scrapbook. Well, I'm glad that you're sharing the information with her, Christine, and maybe she just needs a little bit at a time. You could sneak a little in at a time for her until we've got her hooked in. Nancy says, I am already in the group and on Facebook. I just added an order and asked about a coupon code for this go-round, and they said to make sure you have my email. Just wanted to know if there is one this time. That's all. Thanks. Oh, okay. So there kind of is a coupon and there's kind of not. The end, we have 2 free shipping days in the year, and one of them is National Scrapbook Day, which is the Saturday before Mother's Day. So I guess that's sort of the promotion that falls within this challenge. So that would be sort of the savings day. Now, I guess I can't commit to that's the only thing. We do have a bunch of new product, like I said in the beginning, that we're kind of waiting for. So my hope was to be able to do something promotional-wise with that, just with you guys for the first round. But like I said, I got the information today that it would be like the end of May, which we're not, we finish up the beginning of May. So you may see something else from us promotion-wise. And so last session we did a coupon that was good for one purchase, that you could use a discount on one purchase. So I'll talk to Karen, and maybe we'll do that again this time. If you've already made a purchase and you didn't get to use a coupon and we put one out, we will let you either get a credit for that amount or get the discount, or get a refund for that amount or whatever. So just because we haven't introduced a coupon, if we do introduce something other than the free shipping day, that first Saturday in May, you just have to email about it and we will let you use that coupon, or you can use it on another order. So last session it was good. A coupon code for one order during this session, so you may see it. Oh, here's the question. Is next Saturday the free shipment date? No, it's the first Saturday in May. Jan says, I got rifle racks at the second-hand store and added dowels where the rifles would go to hang rolled ribbon. There you go, creative use, very nice. I have a lot of stickles, paint, and embossing powders. Are they going to be stored a little differently? They are, and we are going to talk about those when we do inks, chalks, and pens. We talk about stickles, and I think that's, I think the next one is, and then, so I think 4, 5, I think number 6, we're going to talk about that, Jeannie. Joanna posts recommendations to donate purchased items. Elementary school, Sunday school teachers need supplies, craft rooms and nursing homes, homeless shelters, especially those who house children. Oh, that's an excellent point, Joanna. McDonald's House. Call local children's hospitals and see what they need, if they have extra paper and scrapbooking supplies. Are there any local moms groups? What about Vacation Bible School? They love extra supplies. So yeah, there's just a plethora of great places. So Nubia says, I'm planning to clear paper storage units that my paper used to be stored in to start my rainbow sorting. I have enough for almost each color. Good job. Way to reuse those things. Sarah says, I'm not receiving the follow-up emails for the webinars. I signed up for the newsletter at the Scrap Rack website, but is there something else I need to do? Thanks. No, Jamie or Sarah, you should be getting them. You can email T. Spalding. I'm going to send my email out at the Scrap Rack. So if you're not getting the emails, send me an email that says, check my email, please, and I'll go in and verify that everything's current on there. But if you signed up on the website, you should be getting it. Lori Ann says, could I put flower paper in nature theme rather than a color? Some are tough to label as one color. You absolutely can. So remember, there is no hard and fast rule. And if the flower papers are something that you're going to use more in nature, they look more like real flowers, or you bought them specifically for a camping trip or hiking trip or some outdoor thing, absolutely. Put them where you think about them or where you think that you would use them. Absolutely. Judy says, so much packaging trash gone, lighten the load. So many containers to go to new homes. It's all coming together. Good to hear it. There's my friend Cindy. Hi, Cindy. I'm so glad you're here. For those who know the manufacturers of things they are using, I like to just tear off a portion of packaging and store it with a product, or else tuck things into Ziplocs and write the info on the outside of the bag with a Sharpie. So 2 great suggestions if you're trying to save your manufacturer information, especially like you who are trying to get on design team. Tracy says, sorry, but I had to go to the little when I came out to hear you telling someone that's a great suggestion. You've never heard that before. Something about flowers. Can you please briefly repeat the suggestion? Thanks so much. Yes, Tracy, well, back, she suggested that you only buy white flowers, and then you could have flowers stored together in your white section because you can ink them or chalk them or paint them or tattered ink them or stamp on them or whatever you want, so you don't have to keep this huge stock of all these colored flowers. You just start with a white flower and color it exactly the color that you want it. And I'd never heard that. I thought it was a great suggestion. Roberta says, how can I get videos as I can only hear you but cannot see you? You can't see me, unfortunately. All you can see is my screen, and you can only hear my voice. Video that we're recording right now is going to be exactly, you're going to hear my voice and the screens on my computer, which I wish I could play through so it would change. You could see different things as I'm talking. I'm just clicking on it now. But Bonnie says, Tiffany, thank you so much for all your ideas. This is my second time taking the webinar, and I'm learning so much. You're so welcome, Bonnie. But see, I was talking about that earlier. There's lots of people who go through again and again. You pick up different things every time, or you have great ideas that you want to share with the Facebook group every time. So feel free to join us and invite friends to join us. Even if you've done it more than once, we're happy to have you all along. Kathy says, hi, my name is Kathy. What would you do with big paper stacks? Would you take them apart? Please explain how I shall sort all those big paper pads. You know, we talked quite a bit about this when we did the paper webinar last week. So if you get a chance to go back and listen to the paper webinar, that'll give you all the details. But essentially what you want to do with those big paper pads is you just want to get them in with the rest of your paper. So if you have a big paper pad and it's just colors, or you have a big paper pad and it's holidays and seasons, or you know, a theme like sports, you can just take one of those little self-adhesive tabs that I showed from the office supply store, stick it onto the chipboard back of that paper pad, and put a little label in it that says sports or Christmas or holidays or whatever. Then you can stand it up on its edge right in with your papers for that theme or that holiday section or whatever, and you'll see the little tab. So that way it's integrated in with the rest of your paper, but you haven't had to pull it all apart. You might have a couple of tags on it. You know, it might be a pack that has, you know, beach stuff and sports stuff or whatever. But by putting that little tag on the edge, it's going to stick out and you're going to see it. And then you're going to remember that you have it and then that you're going to use it. The last thing you want to do is take those stacks of paper and stack them up somewhere away from your paper, because you won't remember that you have them. And you won't get out of your chair to go look for them when everything else is at your fingertips. So put a tag on the edge of them and just stand them up on the shelf with the rest of your paper so they're at least right there at your fingertips. Linda from Denmark, I have lots of flowers and card making that are not flat, so they will get in something like the scrap rack. I'm thinking about using storage boxes like the one you have for paper. Would that work? It will absolutely work. I don't, but to be honest with you, you don't have to worry about things getting crushed, flowers or brads or eyelets or plum stuff or whatever in a scrap rack, because the way the pages sit, the pressure down, is you're not pushing down on things. However, with that said, you can do those things and, like we said, put them in Ziploc bags and stand them up in those paper storage boxes or some other tote or file folder or hanging file folder. So really the goal is just to get those things together. Now, I think that happens with card making, though, is we have a tendency to separate out. These are my things for card making, and these are my things for scrapbooking. But truthfully, those things kind of go together. So you have stuff for birthday cards. Well, obviously, you're probably going to do birthday pages or other birthday projects. You might have, so those could go together. You might have all these things for thank you cards, right? Maybe you have a unmounted rubber stamp that says thank you, or some stickers or something like that. And if you put those in a separate area, your card area, rather than putting them right in your words of wisdom, the word thanks, you might be able to use thanks on other pages or projects as well. So anything that you can combine and color, you really want to keep that in mind. Could I use this together with something else and get more use out of it? With that said, I know you all have heard me say, or not you all, but a lot of you have heard me say this before. One of the things about getting things organized into a 4-section system and really accessible is that you're going to use them for more stuff. So if it's your kid's birthday and you have to dig through boxes and bins or drawers or totes to find a happy birthday sticker or a happy rub-on, you're probably not going to do it. But if you can go into your craft area, open your section to birthday, pull out a sticker or a rub-on that says happy birthday and put it on their milk glass or rub it on their lunch bag or whatever, then you're going to be picking up all these little bits and pieces that are around. And it's just so much more fun because you see all this money that you've invested in all kinds of supplies, and now all of a sudden you're finding ways that you can make a quick birthday card for your teacher or before you might have bought one, or you can make a little tag that says thanks for inviting us to hang on a bottle of wine. You know, you make a little cheesy tag or what you think is cheesy, but when you take it to that hostess, when you bring handmade stuff, people are blown away. Even if you think it's not very good, people are like, oh my God, you made that? That's so cool, blah, blah, blah. So once you get your stuff, can you tell me I'm getting a little excited? But once everything's easy to get to, you can just use so much more of it for things that you wouldn't have ever dreamed of using them before because it's too much work. So, all right, that's another soapbox. That's three soapboxes in one session. Sorry about that. Linda asked about free shipping day. How does that apply to people outside the USA? So if you're outside the USA, you get 10% of your order in shipping. So if you spend $100, you get a $10 shipping credit. So shipping might be $20, so it's only going to cost you $10. You spend $200, you get a $20 shipping credit. So yeah, whatever you spend, you get that credit to put towards your shipping. Joanna says, or she has a post from Robin asking, any idea when the scrap magnetic easel will be available? It will be available either on Friday or Monday. So usually once we have a confirmed arrival date, we will open it up so that you can purchase, and we'll probably send out an email also. So, but I would look for Friday or Monday to be the day. Brenda says, nursing homes need your supplies. They have a lot of activities for residents and some other donation ideas for MOPS. Others have preschools who are preschoolers, often on a budget, and they welcome anything like that. Connie says, I've heard the same about ribbon. Buy white and use your inks. Oh, stamping pads to make perfectly colored for your layout. So another good point. I wouldn't have thought of that either, but using white ribbon and then changing it up to match whatever you said. Joanna says, you said there are 2 free shipping days, first Saturday in May, and when is the other day? I'm sorry, I got a little bit sidetracked on that, didn't I? Black Friday, so the day after Thanksgiving, and both of them are 24-hour periods of time. Anything you buy during that 24-hour period of time is free shipping within the United States, 10% discount or 10% shipping credit on anything outside of the United States. And so mark those on your calendars, everybody. Linda says, will you be selling the scrap rack at the New Hampshire Convention? Yes, we will have the scrap rack at the New Hampshire Convention. I hope the weather's nice there. I got spoiled last week being in Columbus, Ohio, because I was there when it was 80 and sunny, and it was so wonderful. It was awesome. Candy says, I have so much stuff that it'll definitely take me longer. Oops, my screen changed here. I have so much stuff that it'll definitely take me longer than 8-week sessions to organize it all. I'm sure I'll do the webinar more than once. Thanks, Tiffany, for all you do for us. You're so welcome. And yeah, join in, invite friends to join in. And the recorded sessions are available too. So if you can't make it to all of them or you need to relive something, you can absolutely do it online or do the recorded version. Jamie says, I'm currently using a binder system so I can convert to the scrap rack soon. But until then, do you have any suggestions on how to store small Ziploc type bags on a single page like the multi-pocket page? Yes, I do. Get something sturdy like our plastic dividers, but there's other dividers out there that are kind of that pliable plastic, or even like a heavier piece of chipboard, like the back of a notebook or whatever, and just use either repositionable glue dots work the best, and just stick the little Ziploc bags onto that heavier board, that heavier, you know, like the chipboard or the plastic, and with those repositionable glue dots. So then when you flip to your blue section in your notebook, you'll have the little Ziploc bags all stuck on there, but you can pull them off because they're repositionable and put them back. Candy says, in my alphanumeric section, I keep the backing from the used sticker sheets to line up titles on before I put them on my page. It's easy to move the sticker letters around on the slick backing sheets. I also keep my Creative Members title, Topia, with the backing sheet. So another great suggestion. Way to go, Candy. And yeah, that in your Creative Memories Titletopia, I don't know if you've seen the ring binder insert strips that we sell on the website also. They're in the accessory section. They're a standard office supply. We don't make them. We just sell them because it's convenient. But things like Titletopia, you can take one of these ring binder insert strips. It's just a self-adhesive plastic strip with 3 holes punched in it. You can stick it on the Titletopia, and then you can put it right in your alphanumeric section with your other tags, titles, and journaling supplies. You can do this with other kinds of templates or idea pages or little thin idea guides or those kind of things. So if you haven't seen those ring binder insert strips, I'll try to include them. I'll write a note on the follow-up email that goes out tomorrow. So if you're sort of looking for ways to integrate things into your 3-ring system or your scrap rack system, those ring binder insert strips are amazing, and they work for other things too. And there's a little video about them on the website, so I'll put a link into that for those of you who might be interested. All right, so it looks like we're at the end of the question session. So I want all of you to work hard this week and get lots of embellishments and stickers and die cuts sorted, and then post up on Facebook and let me know how you're doing. Let everybody know how you're doing. And I just feel like it's going to be a nice, productive week for everybody. The sun is shining here in the Pacific Northwest, which is a treat. So I'm all fired up and energetic. So, all right, ladies, thanks for joining me, and I will see all of you or talk to all of you, I guess, next Monday night. Have a great and productive week.